Hey guys, welcome back again. Yassine here. Before we jump into the stocks you guys mentioned to me, let's take a look at some of the indexes and see what's happening. First, we're looking at the index of NASDAQ. To be honest with you, since we had this long run, there was everybody was expecting a pullback eventually, so we can digest those gains. Everybody was expecting it to be some gains in here or here, but it's stock the NASDAQ just keeps rallying in here, and you can tell like this pullback is a little bit different. That means that different than this one over here, because we broke the 21 EMA in here, and we still run all the way back up. This time, if you notice, we broke the 21, and then we stayed below it. Like we trade like almost like a whole week right below it, and that means we are in no man's land. For me, that's just like sitting back in cash. If you have positions, you have some leaders, just tighten up your stops and just sit tight. If they're going any lower, just get out. And what I mean by no man's land, as you might know, one of my videos before, I mentioned that the stock has some life cycle. We accumulate first phase with breakout, and then we go all the way back up in a trend, and then we kind of stall in here. We might make it like a shoulder, head and shoulder, whatever. We'll just stall, and then we just break that last phase, and then we go down. So we have like phase 1, then phase 2, and then phase 3, and then here when we break, we have phase 4. This is what I mean when the stock just breaks down, and in this area on phase 4. That means we are in no man's land. You don't even know what the stock's gonna be going. In phase 2 or 3, you may use here some Fibonacci retracement. You might have some levels to trace where the stock might bounce back. Or you might say that the stock might keep going higher in here. But once we break, man, that the whole trend, that means, for me personally, why I see it, I just sit back and just wait for the stock to give me more information so I can trade on it. So that's what I meant by in no man's land. Yeah, if you look back, if we look at it on a weekly, the whole run, man, we never closed below. I have this one as 8 EMA. It can be a 10, it can be a 10 EMA too, but I kind of like the 8 EMA. The whole time we never broke and closed below it. Now look at today, look at this week, we just closed a little bit below it. On the daily, when I look at it, I just see that the NASDAQ wants to go a little more lower, and that's totally fine. It won't. I wouldn't go too bearish on it. I think the stock market is still resilient. It wants to go a little more higher. It just needs time to digest, especially for the growth stocks. So and these are the areas that I'm seeing that the stock might still bounce off of them. If you look back on the weekly, and what the NASDAQ did before, on a trend like that, and back in 2016 when it broke this level, look here, we kind of held that 8 EMA. And once we started closing below it, you can see some lower prices in here, and here, and then here. So in this area, I just like to sit back and just watch and wait for new setups. And then another thing that I like to do is just look for the leaders. And what I mean by that is a stock that do not correct that much. So yeah, so look at that EMA again. This is the weekly chart. We just started closing below it, so we can hit to that support, to that previous resistance in here. That can still be normal. We can bounce off these. We're in no man's land, like I said before. All right, so if we look back on the Dow Jones, notice with me Dow Jones, we had this gap in here. Stock Dow Jones came right, fill it, and then had a reaction right from it. So there's a lot of things sometimes I just keep an eye on. So same thing again, we're digesting those gains, and these are the levels that I just drew. The areas, like they're not perfectly a level. Like I can't just give you one number, but these levels that I'll keep an eye on and see if that we're gonna have like a weekly reversal candle, things like that. That's what I like to watch. So we can bounce from them. S&P, same thing again here. We broke. We came to this level right in here too. So we are in no man's land. So just I don't like to trade on no man's land. I like to trade on some really good breakout or pullbacks or reversal or something like that. One thing I'll tell you though is if we this is the Dow Jones 15 utility. We're not. This is the weakest one. And this one I think is an utility. I think if we start closing below that big old breakout bar, man, you might see some lower prices ahead. XLF financial market, same thing. We're just hovering right above that these levels right in here. They're all weak. IWM, same thing. We broke out in here, and then we broke that higher lows, which is in here, and we have a resistance here. We have a gap here. We can fill it, bounce back, but again, we might need time. Just leave it. Watch for new leaders. One thing I'll tell you though is that I noticed if we go to the Dow Jones transport, Dow Jones 20, what does that tell you? Like from that first look, man, what does that tell you? Barely almost have any reaction to what the market is doing. If you look at the NASDAQ, look how those candles are setting up. We broke back in Friday. We closed almost a little bit below the 21, and then since then we stayed below it, right? The S&P, almost same thing. Dow Jones 30, same thing. But look at Dow Jones transport. So this one is holding. It's like a canary in coal mine. They're just telling you something, that the stocks in this area, or in this index, is holding up barely, almost. Like we're still above the 21. So I would just go, if I were you, I would go here and just dive in, look for some strong stocks that about to break out. That's just my concern and my opinion. It's holding up pretty well. We'll look at the weekly, see how they're doing. It's just pretty good, man. Almost like we don't even have any correction. If you would tell me we have a correction, I'll tell you no, you're lying. All right, I received some requests from you guys to some stocks to talk about. First one was TXG. He's another stock that almost barely have any correction. Well, actually we did in here. What am I thinking here? To be honest with you, I wouldn't jump in. I wouldn't buy it, if that's what what are you asking me. I wouldn't buy it. Buying point for me was back here, because when I want to buy a stock, I want to buy right from the base. Like I want to see a breakout. Like again, I want to buy here when it just broke out. I want to catch it. If I miss that first phase, I want to catch a pullback, second phase, which is a pull to the 21 or reversal from there. I don't want to catch it when it's way close, like in here. You know what I mean? So that's me again. So that was a good entry point. Another one was here. Let's see. We had almost like another consolidation here. Is another entry point here. So I like to get in when there is a kind of consolidation. The longer the better, and just go from there. So my stop loss will be like a little bit below here, or even here tighter. Here's another bounce off the 21, almost like a reversal. Yeah, so I mean, if you got into these areas, they'll be good. I will take some profit in here or even here. The stock just reacted to the last pullback that we had, and just kept going higher, which is still good. But I wouldn't jump in actually and go in here. If that's your point, I wouldn't be in jumping. So this for me it's like you're trending it. So if you're not in this area, I will just sit aside. Yeah, I'll just leave it. Yeah, if you have some, if you took profit, you can follow it. Other than that, I will just keep aside, and I'm not gonna touch it because we don't have any solid consolidation that we can jump in like in here or even reversal from here. So yeah, take profit if you've been in any, and just watch it or let it go up if you want to. All right, next one I want to discuss AMD. AMD is acting up just like the Nasdaq. Same thing here. I will just set aside. There's no getting point. This one actually was a good getting point in here, but the stock just reversed back. You should have cut your losses quickly in here and just get out, man. For me, once you start breaking out the low of that breakout candle, man, that's a warning sign for me. Yeah, I'll just cut majority of my positions. Sometimes I'll just leave it. Depends on the market. But yeah, always keep an eye on the indexes and see what's happening. You know, so that will give you a clue on what's going on. Should I lighten up my possessions? Should I get a new possession? Or yeah, so we are in no man's land. So I'll leave it to set up. Give me a new base, new pattern, and then go from there. You can't predict what's gonna happen from here. We are in no man's land. So yeah, I will just set aside and just watch for another stock. Another one that I was requested to do is I think RKT. Yeah, I think it was RKT. A new IPO I've never seen before. To be honest with you, when it comes to new IPOs like that, I like to get more new like I like to leave the stock. Let the stock give me like I like to see 6 months, 1 year of chart information. From my experience, from what I've seen, from what I heard from people that they trade IPOs, majority of the time they say 60% of the time or more, the IPOs like to break their lows. They go even lower, and then if the stock is any good, then it will bounce back up, make a new pattern in here, and then go from there. So that's again what I heard, and I've seen it happen. So I wouldn't just trade from here. You can if you want. I mean, it's totally up to you. But I would just set aside if I were you, and I would wait for a new pattern to hold, because you don't even know what's happening. Every time think about this, every time you want to trade, it's just me. I mean, I need to find some support resistance, and then like to trade. I need something to trade against. You know, I need to see where's my exit at. Is it good? Is it not good? Like for example, last time what EMD, where's EMD? Okay, I mean we had a breakout here, and then stock just pulled back a little bit to the 8. And then broke out again in volume. I mean, you can tell me you know where you're gonna put your stop loss. You know where's your last low or whatever you want to, whatever percentage you want to. But here on RKT, I mean, what is gonna be your entry point? I mean, again, it's just me. You can tell it's almost like a cup and a handle there. Yeah, you could have got in here. It's a good follow through. But man, once we start breaking below that, you should be out. I'll just set aside and I won't even touch it. If you like the company, I'll just wait for it to set up, give you more information, and then go from there. So many companies, they did the same thing before. Chewy, look at Chewy. If you would have liked the Chewy, like I said before, look how they do this new IPO. Chewy, they broke below the previous low, and then look how long they've been there. And then somebody kind of liked the company, and then you will have some risk to reward ratio. Like what your interest is going to be at, or your risk at. You have something to trade against. You know, even Chewy here does not even look good. Another stock that I was requested to mention is PFSI. Actually, this one I was watching it as well. I liked it, comparing to what the market is doing. It had a pullback here. It did held its 21, which is kind of showed you strength, and that's what you want to look for, guys. Like you want to look for something that it's doing something that the market is not doing. If we broke below and then started closing below like we did here in Nasdaq, we stayed almost like a week below the 21. Well, PFSI is not doing that. Well, it's holding above the 21, which is again strength. You know what I mean? Let's look at it in the weekly, see what's happening. Almost like nothing happened. Yeah, pretty good. I would wait for it to break out. If you're in a rush, you can start with a half position in here. But starting to close below that 21, a low in here, or even here, if you depends on your risk appetite. Yeah, you can start even a position if it start closing above here, man. You can add some more. Yeah, looks good so far. Good stock, strong stock. Yeah, actually I was watching this one as well. Another one is Orly again. Look, we got hit in this 3 days on the Nasdaq and the whole market on the 3rd. So that's the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We didn't even close below the 21. What does that tell you? Another strong stock, and it's holding its levels. You can wait for the stock. You can even add if you want to. If you have a position, you can add or wait for it to break out below here. You can add more. We had a gap. It got filled and never closed below the 21. It's a little bit expensive, 474. Looks good. Let's look at it in the weekly. We have a breakout candle in here. Of course, start a break below the low that candle, you want to be out. That's me again. Yeah, stocks look good. It's flagging. You can see it digesting some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 6 weeks. About time to just jump but by the time that usually stocks will do that 5 to 6 weeks, sometimes a little more, and they will get some strength and then they will go up. But you always want to have that mind that anything can flip. Look at here, we had a gap. Well, I mean, we had a flag, and then the stock just keeps roll over. It did roll over. It started breaking below here, man. You want to get out. Yeah. So one stock that I did mention. So I just covered all the stock that you guys requested. Stock that I mentioned last week, it was DER. I told you guys it was strong because it had a breakout here. It did show some weakness, and I tweeted about it. So that kind of like I'm like, that stock's not acting the way I wanted to, and then all of a sudden it kind of reversed back. I'm like, oh, okay, we got something here. So it's one thing I want to mention, guys. If you want to even get in this stock right now, it looks good. Starting to close below that low here, or even the 21, which is in here, which is what 32.60. Might change by tomorrow, Monday. It will be it will invalid. It will not be valid if it comes back in reverse and close below the 21. One thing I want you to keep in mind is, like I said before, stocks when they break out of that first phase, see where you at. See, are you in initial breakout? Are you in a pullback, second pullback, third pullback? Have an idea, because the more pullbacks you have, man, you kind of getting close to that top. So you might like I said, I don't want to get in here. We might have like a short base. You might get in here, and then all of a sudden stock will give you a 65%, and it will reverse on you. All right, so keep that in mind, because it happens quite often. So if we look at back in this stock, and you tell me, okay, what is the base? Well, we don't have any long base. We just have like short bases. So to keep the idea simple, so look in here, almost like a cup and a handle here. We had a small base of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. We broke out right in here, and then if we had a breakout, let's say we have this accumulation phase here. Let's say it's this area right in here. We had a breakout, so we broke out from $26. Now we are in 34. So that's about I think that's about like 30% already move. So from here all the way to here, that's about almost 34%, almost about 34%. So yeah, so the stock already moved 34%. So you're not getting actually in the initial entry point. So you might be getting in a pullback. Here's the first pullback here in this area would be a good entry, and then we're making another second pullback. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it might keep going higher, but I just like to see the long bases. You know what I mean? And then breaking out from them, and then I'll be able to take some profit, and once it hits like 15, 20, 25% off, and then trade the other half and follow it. But here you get the idea. It might keep going, like I said, 40, but you're in the back of your mind like, hey, this is not the first initial. The stock already broke out before me a while ago, and then it's been trading since the breakout, and it did around about 34% already. So yeah, the stock is still acting good. I thought it was gonna break down right in that day, which one was on Tuesday, and it didn't, reverse right back in. Good stock. All right, guys, I hope I covered everything. I hope you enjoy it. Give me a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if this is your first time, and I catch you guys next time. Take care. Bye bye.